Hey guys, it's Chris Cooper, and today I'm talking to those of you in Tinker Phase, those of you who have a gym that's already making okay money to good money, and it's paying you well, and you're starting to think about what's next for me. But you wind up just getting pulled back into working at the gym. You find that your days are filled, but you don't feel like you're really accomplishing anything. Maybe you're staring at your phone too much, and you just maybe don't know what to do. So today I'm going to talk about how to make sure that you get focused progression by using a couple of tools that I'm going to share with you right now. If you like this video and you're at this tinker level and you're working on like the next project, or you've got a gym that's just doing well and you're wondering what's next for me, hit like and then hit subscribe on this video, and we'll make sure to make more of them to help people like you. So I've got three methods for you to help keep you focused and on task when you're in the tinker phase. The first two are time blocking, and the third is brain blocking. And I'm going to call these Skunkworks after the Lockheed Martin project that way back in the 40s devoted a certain amount of manpower and financial resources to just coming up with new ideas instead of working on the same old problems. And the Lockheed Martin Skunkworks project was pretty famous. You can look it up. They actually had a separate building where they would take some of their engineers and say, like, let's think about problems that we can fix. Okay. Now, there are good examples of this being in use in other businesses around the world, and I'm going to share these with you as you go. The first strategy, when you're in the tinker phase and you're like overwhelmed and you're constantly getting pulled back into like working in your gym, or you're constantly like looking over the shoulder of all your staff and trying to find things to fix, or you're overwhelmed or you're completely directionless, the first step is called time blocking. And what I want you to do is carve out 2 hours of your day. They don't have to be the same hour, or they don't even have to be back to back, obviously, but you're going to set these hours up in advance and then build the rest of your day around them. So let's say that you decide you need to build more content. Okay. You need to start a blog or a podcast or a video channel like this one. And you just don't have time because you get to the gym, you grab a coffee, you say hi to everybody, and then you just get buried in requests. The first thing that you have to do is set yourself up with a focus window. So you have to create a space where you've got 1 hour where the door is closed, where nobody's going to talk to you, the phone is off, and you are just doing the thing that's going to take you to the next level. So if that focus hour is like buying crypto, that's fine. If that focus hour is researching locations for another gym, that's fine. If that focus hour is setting up your Questrade account to invest in whatever, that's fine. If that is researching loan rates to buy out another gym, that's fine. If that is setting up training programs for your current staff, that's fine. Whatever that is, you're going to devote that hour to this task and nothing else. So you're going to grab a stopwatch. This is the only acceptable use of your phone during this hour. You're going to set a 1 hour timer and you're going to hit go. You will not answer the phone. You will be turning off like Facebook chimes, notifications. You will not check email. You will work solely on this project. For me, this hour comes at 5 a.m. Nobody else is up yet. Nobody's going to email me. My kids don't need their breakfast yet. Nobody's going to interrupt this work. And so I know that I can do an hour straight. The first time you do it, it's like meditation. You're probably not going to do really well. But if you stick with that focus practice of carving out that focus hour, you eventually will get better and better and be more productive with that time. The second hour of the day that you're going to carve out is your ship window. Now, this is where you handle your to-do list. So I'm sure that as you're working over the course of the day, you're just getting bombarded with ideas. And what you're going to do is you're just going to make a note of each one so you can get that idea out of your brain and onto paper and deal with it later. The problem that most of us face that creates overwhelm is we have these ideas. I got an idea for a blog post, and we have these requests. Oh crap, I got to get my paperwork to the bookkeeper by 5 p.m. And then we have these problems that have urgency. And each one of these new things that enters our brain is like you're juggling balls, and every one is like a new ball that you have to keep in the air because you're scared to forget to do any of them. So you have to get them out of your head and put them on a checklist. I use Google Tasks for this. It's quick. It's on my phone. I take a quick note and it's done. This ship window, this 1 hour block, is when you just hammer your checklist, and that's it. You set up an hour, you set up your timer, you go through the checklist, tick, tick, tick. If each one of these takes 30 seconds, that's fine, right? You want to break the big tasks down into little checklists if you can, and just hammer. At the end of the day, honestly, having finished this ship window, this checklist, is sometimes the only thing that I feel like I've accomplished all day, even though I've been working hard for 12 or 13 hours. So it's really important that not only do you check things off a list, but also at the end of the day, you can look at that list and look at the things that you've done, right? I even keep what I call a done list. Okay, that's important. Tools, I just use Google Tasks for this, honestly. So when is best? So to do your focus window, usually it's either best like right upon waking when everybody else is still asleep, or it's best right after a workout. If you're working out at your gym and you can do a workout and then go in your office and close the door for 1 hour, amazing. The problem is that if you're working out in your gym, you're probably going to want to stand around and talk to the coaches or the clients. The other problem is that usually you go right from workout to a meal. And as soon as you have a meal, you're going to start processing insulin and all kinds of stuff. And you're going to start to lose mental sharpness. You might even feel like taking a nap. So for me, the focus window is best done on an empty stomach with a coffee first thing in the morning. But for a lot of people, it's right after a workout. The ship window is usually done when you feel mentally sharp and not tired. But for most people, it's like later in the day. You don't need to be creative, but you need to get these things done. The problem is that, or the challenge with a ship window is like when you are in your gym and you're working, or you're at home and your kid is doing their homework or whatever, it's hard to create that mental separation, again, because you've already got like 5 balls in the air, right? And so the goal here is just to like grab each ball out of the air and put them back on the desk or back on the ground, get them out of your brain. The next strategy is time blocking in days. Now, when you make it to the tinker phase, that doesn't mean like, life's good, retire to the beach, you don't have to work ever, your time spent in your gym goes to 0. All it means is that you can use about 20% of your week to work on something other than your gym, right? You've got a little bit of time freedom, not ultimate time freedom. So one strategy that other people use is they block days. So instead of blocking off 2 hours, if you find it tough to switch from what you're doing to being focused, or what you're doing to working on your checklist, it might be easier to block off days. And so what a lot of people will do, including the original Google engineers, is work on a completely different project on Fridays, okay? So maybe you still devote yourself to working on your gym and growing it and doing NSIs and even some coaching Monday through Thursday, and that's okay. But on Friday, you are working on the next project, okay? The second gym, the retail line, the new supplement that you're developing, understanding Bitcoin, buying a self-storage building, building your foundation even, okay? So for me, while I do these tactics of focus and ship windows, I also have started taking Fridays to work on my not-for-profit projects, okay? NFP Fridays. So on Fridays, you don't go on Facebook, right? And if that's hard for you, then you need to delegate that to somebody else. On Friday, you don't take personal training appointments. But if you have clients who want personal training appointments, then you have to delegate that to somebody else. On Fridays, you don't do NSIs. And if people want NSIs on Fridays, then you have to delegate that to somebody else. Merely carving out that day for your Skunkworks project is valuable in itself, okay? And again, like you're not giving yourself a 3-day weekend necessarily, although maybe sometimes you are. What you're doing is just creating 20% of your week to work on the next project. The last piece is brain blocking. And I want to give you a quote. Somebody recently said to me, Chris, if the problem is solved by money, then and you have money, then it's not a problem. So what they mean by that is like we spend up a lot of brain space trying to invent solutions to problems that have already been solved. We keep this founder's mentality of like DIY every time a problem comes up. So for example, I've got this guy and he loves to use the term two-brain business in his Facebook profile and on his like Google ads and stuff, so that when somebody searches for two-brain business, they find this guy, this like pale knockoff, right? Well, that's irritating. And it's been going on long enough that like, it's not super funny anymore. So I can stress about this. I can like spend my focus time writing this guy an email, being tactful, being, strict, but giving him a chance to just correct his mistakes, thinking about it, devoting all this brain space to it. Or I can spend that hour doing stuff that actually builds my business and let my lawyer take care of it. So what I do is just say, hey, here's 2 screenshots and ship it to the lawyer. Now, is that going to cost me money? Yeah, maybe about $2,000. However, I know it's taken care of. And the beautiful part is that I have blocked that out of my brain. I can use my brain to create value worth more than $2,000 to me. I can get that off my plate. So if you're at this level, you've got a functioning gym and you're stressed about, oh boy, I need to have a tough conversation with that client, or oh boy, I need to take 5 NSIs and that's why I can't work on my Skunkworks project. Use money to solve your problem. Money is a tool when you have money. So you can hire somebody else to take the NSIs. You could even put them through sales training so they become better than you, right? You don't have to create a DIY version. And this is where mentorship just gets more and more valuable, because you can just buy the answer. So for example, if I want to create a framework like this, I could spend a year reading 50 books on flow state and learning meditation and going to meditation retreats. And I could spend my next 6 months downloading every Audible book that I can find on focus or attention. And I could call my teacher friends and I could get opinions on Facebook, or I could just call a mentor, pay them whatever they cost and say, how do you get more done? Right? And have them focus. I could call a cycling coach to say, hey, just write my cycling program for me. Just like your clients can call you for the program, the instructions and the accountability to get the work done, instead of sifting through bodybuilding magazines to try and find like the ultimate arms routine, right? So brain blocking is super important and it becomes more and more valuable. But the beautiful part is that as you become more valuable, you have the resources to just pay for the answer. So I hope this helps. If you like it, just hit like on this video, hit subscribe, or ask a question below, and we'll make sure that we keep producing videos for people at your stage.